What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Kemple with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. I have a really cool guest. Her name is Shaman Nicola Fernandes. She's zooming in all the way from New York City. She is a mentor and a teacher. This is actually the first time I've ever connected with a shaman, and I am so intrigued. Shaman Nicola, thank you for joining us. Can you please introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about your background?
Totally. First of all, I'm so elated to be here, Diana, and I love the label free. It so spoke to me. So thank you so much for doing that. We need that in this world so much.
Awesome.
To my background, I'm German. I lived half my life in Germany, came to New York City, lived a life going out.
Yeah.
And then, actually I had an office, 47th floor over Times Square.
Whoa.
And then my second child was diagnosed with autism. And so that really gave me like the wink with the big wink.
Sure. Yeah.
And and it opened me up to all the alternative world and what is there in this whole invisible world. And I really got into shamanism by, you might call it accidents, synchronicities. And I love it. And especially in this time now where so much is shifting, I'm going so much back to the roots, connecting to this planet, connecting to the earth, and being so grateful of all the learning I had and have every day, right? So
Sure.
that's where I'm coming from.
I love it. So I like before we start recording, I told you I wanted to talk more about your shaman journey. So how did that come about for you? I know that you said you had an autistic child, and that's really tough. And I actually want to connect you with somebody that I recorded with last year that I think would be a great connection for you. He has an autistic child and he's very active in that community. But I just think that's so neat. I can really connect with that, with that healing and that natural, I would say natural vibration. So tell us a little bit about that journey and what brought you to that.
So I really want to point out, because it's one of my biggest aha moments, that, I went to many seminars, and my husband, I was so lucky. He would stay with the kids. I would go, a week away. I was up to a month away. And you know what happened? Every time I came home, my daughter was better. And that's really what made me realize it's not the others that have to change, right?
Right.
She still, has autism and still diagnosed, but she totally speaks. She, she can take care of it, all this. She got so much better, right? And everybody agreed that she got better, and it was just working on me. So I really want to point that out, that's why I'm now a mentor and teacher for self-love with the shamanism, because it's all about ourselves.
Yes.
Taking care of ourselves, this inner work. And so, how I came to it, it was like, I asked a friend, a longtime friend, if she knew anything, and she opened me up to this alternative world. And I started with muscle testing, kinesiology. And I was like, I actually healed my, my sight. I mean, I just had glasses. They weren't very strong, but it was like, let me just see if this stuff works. And I haven't worn glasses for 20 years, right?
I need to do that.
So then I was looking for more, and I found a teacher who was guiding me to really, the right, how would I say, seminars where the teachers were, they were on a higher spiritual path. They wouldn't project on you all their stuff, but they had worked through their stuff and could hold you in that. And, I went many times to Peru and worked there with the shamans and work with the plant medicine. And, I do my daily work. I do my own soul retrievals. I work with Mother Earth and do my, you really have to walk your talk, right? It's like whatever, even my clients, what they bring up, I always check, is there still a part of me that's bringing that up, or am I totally clear, so they can be totally clear. It's a beautiful path, and you have to be, it's kind of like, it's like kind of like dancing on a rope, right?
Sure.
As comfortable as you are, you always have to watch out where you're stepping and watch that you're grounded, right?
So how long did it take you to become a shaman? That has to be quite an intense process.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you go to the courses, but what it really brings up all your stuff, all your shadows, all your darkness. I had a huge conflict afterwards with my husband.
Oh, wow.
God, I still didn't get the message after my daughter. I had to work through my mother. I mean, it brings so much up, and it's daily. It's still like,
Sure.
not anymore as strong, but I'm like caught when I don't show up for my clients or what I'm supposed to do here in life. I know that I got a whack in another way, and I'm like, have to show up, right?
Yeah.
So it's constantly, and it's a good thing. It's like, you're really good at something, like, let's say, surfing, and you have to keep on doing it to stay good.
Well, right. Yeah. I think that that's so important. Like, I feel like there's a lot that's very cyclical, right, in life, and finding that energy, and really connecting with that, I think is very important. I think that's where a lot of people with this day and age. And so, yes. Okay, we're just gonna let everybody say hello. This is my little rescue pup that I'm fostering right now, and probably will end up keeping her, but she's being very active right now. I feel like a lot of people are very disconnected right now, especially with, like, the social media and just everything that's happened the last year due to COVID. And a lot of people, I don't think they might think that they love themselves, but they don't really are connecting with how to love themselves truly. So why don't you talk about how you work with your clients when they come to you, and what that looks like for your process with them?
Yeah, totally. So, I work actually as many levels at the same time. So first of all, I'm very much about empowering my clients. So I'm not just, have you lie down, even over, Zoom or over video, and work on you. I work with you. I want you
Sure.
to more and more know what we are doing. So you know you're in charge. You have the same ability. I'm very, very good in connecting with intuition and invisible world, so I guide you with me. It's like going up a mountain, and I know the path and I show you, but more and more you get to know the path.
Sure.
And then while you learn, we do two things. We do the clearing first of the past, of of your stories, of your limiting beliefs, your mindset, and your childhood. We also create what you want, and so we interweave the two,
Yeah.
right? So as we take something out, we put something good in, but
Sure.
we do that a little bit on the unconscious, so it becomes you.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh yeah, you need to do it this way now. You're suddenly gonna feel, oh my God, I did this. I
Yeah.
never thought I was, and suddenly I did it, right?
Yeah.
And while we do this, you learn to be that way more and more. It's kind of like really seeing, you see something and you suddenly realize, wow, this is there for me. What's behind it? You
Sure.
more and more engage with your life.
Right.
That brings that self-love. We also connect, to the heart, to the soul, to why you chose those parents, all that. But while we do all that, you grow and you learn yourself. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes total sense. I'm all about it. I'm totally. I mean, like I said before we started recording, I've gone through a lot of stuff
Yeah.
in my life.
Yeah.
I'm a widow. I've gone through. I'm a human trafficking survivor. And throughout that, I've had a lot of abuse from. My father was a deadbeat dad, and I've had a lot of trauma. But I'm also very blessed to be a strong individual. Oh, this is funny. First time recording with this little nugget. But it has taken me through kind of some of that process, and I've had to learn kind of the hard way. I mean, I've gotten some, typical therapists, throughout my life, but now at this point, I've realized the importance of kind of deprogramming and reprogramming with good stuff, kind of like what you're talking about. I can't even imagine how much growth I would have if I worked with someone like you, which, that would be incredible. And I actually, you know what, my aunt is really big into this stuff. I'm going to introduce her to you as well. I think that you guys, she'd probably really like working with you, or at least, connecting with you. So when someone signs up with you, how long is that? I mean, I know everybody's journey is different, but how long is that journey typically?
Right now I invite people we work together for 3 months, and there's a big shift. Yet was sitting down today that I feel like almost like it's not fair that I'm gonna start asking people to to commit to 6 months, because 3 months is a big shift,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's kind of like, you are just there. And then if you don't continue, it doesn't become part of you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Well, right. Yeah. It's just
Right?
like to create a habit, right? It takes like what, 7 days to create a habit. It takes 21 days to break one. So,
Yeah,
I mean, you're talking about going through all that garbage.
exactly.
That's
Right.
gonna take a long time.
Yeah, and also I tell people, you so many years that you had these patterns, right? Give it 6 months to really change them, and then I actually I offer group programs. So just because I do my work, staying in that community, staying in that flow, constantly being nudged up. It's kind of like, the best tennis players keep on practicing. They don't just go to tournaments, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. She's like biting the crap out of my hand. Oh boy. Okay, so I like this one because of everything that we've gone through. This is a good takeaway for the audience. How do you practice self-care in difficult times?
It's really like remembering that you can be that stillness in the eye of the tornado.
Sure. In the eye of the storm.
Coming back to that stillness. And how do you come back to the stillness? If you're not outside, you just put your hands on your heart and you really connect deep to your heart and know that it's kind of like you can talk to your heart. You can have that as a companion. If you're out in nature, like literally hug the trees, know that every flower you do is there for you. It's a gift from the universe for you.
I
And
love that.
see, the nature as your companion.
Yeah. I used to go, so when I was in my early 20s, when I was, struggling, and kind of that was probably the hardest time in my life. I would go to the forest preserve and sit there, and I would just look at the trees, and I felt like the trees, like if you're really connecting with nature, they talk to you. And that might sound a little corny or whatever, but I really felt that they did. They talk to you. If you can just be still in that moment, it's really quite powerful. I like this one. How do you change your limiting beliefs?
That's a good one. So there are different ways. They are like, how would I say? Because we have had them for a few years, right? I always see like they have like a little tentacles, right? And so it's often not just one. So I go in different directions. So first of all, I clear all the negative emotions wherever they started, right? I kind of like, I'm not just, how they say you pull up the weeds, not just you cut them. No, you don't just cut them off, you pull the roots. I go where the seed of that weed ever blew on the earth, right? So go all the way back. I also just really rewrite them and let my clients really take them in a good way.
Sure.
So they really can replace it with something. And then we also do that a little bit, in shamanism, I use the rattle a lot. So we go a little bit in trance. So it goes into the unconscious and we go back to your younger self who really like took them in.
Yeah.
And ask the younger self to really transfer them. And when we change that younger self wherever they started,
Yeah.
it automatically changes you.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And I have to say that as much unconscious work as we do, it's also in actions.
Yeah.
Right? So there are some things that you can really do to treat yourself better. Right? And just put them in your calendar, put them in place.
And make it a habit.
Make it a habit. Exactly.
I actually took my late husband, before we were married, sent me and my sister to a weekend like retreat. It's not really. It was kind of like what you're talking about, like a real intense weekend course where we went. We stayed in cabins in the wood. It was called in the woods. It was called Women Within. Women Within. You weren't allowed to bring your phone or anything like that. And it was very intense, like spiritual, deep healing. And it was life-changing. It was definitely life-changing. I think it probably would have been a little bit better if my sister and I didn't go together because, I'm not sure if you have siblings, but, me and my sister were like the best of friends. And so we would get a little silly at times, and it wasn't, I think it could have been a lot more beneficial. She's just being very silly. Can you share with us a success story from one of your clients, like something you're really proud of where they've had like a breakthrough? And
Um, I mean, just recently I had a client who was like, how come my parents treated me so badly? And she has a brother who is super successful, and she was supposed to be the one, he won like an Oscar. And she's
oh
like, I
wow.
was supposed to be the one who is like so successful in, as an actress. And we traveled back, and she's like, holy camole, when she realized what she really wanted to learn. So often it's the reverse, and we choose the parents that really show us the reverse, so we really make sure we learn it, right? And so she was like, oh my god, yes, and I really learned it. Yes, yeah, I mean, with these parents I definitely learned it.
So I chose a deadbeat dad. That's great. What lesson am I supposed to learn there?
Yeah, and it's not easy for your conscious mind right now to go there. It's easier, I travel back all the way often to the soul, and that's held with such lightness. And often then even we get guides in to really help to get that message. And with that, sacred space, then it's easy to connect.
I'm going to be thinking about this for the rest of the day, what you just said. No, for real. I think that's pretty powerful. And it's easier to place that blame on outside things. It's harder to take responsibility for things that we choose to do, even if it's blatant. You know what I mean? And so to really go back that far and just say that our soul or our spirit chose that, and I do believe in all this stuff. I do believe it. That that's harder to really accept.
Yeah, and I don't make it, you know, I rarely actually use responsibility, because I feel like that's like so grown up. It's really, as a shaman, what's most important for us is to practice dying. So we want to make sure that today you use it as good as you can, because if you would leave tomorrow, you have nothing to regret.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that you got that learning you came here for this lifetime, because otherwise you pass over and you're like, holy camole, I wanted to learn this and I didn't do anything with it. I just was resentful and thought they did it because they wanted to be mean. And they wanted to teach me. And so when we figure that out, you can use that rest of your lifetime really. And you can see, and it goes even deeper, Diana. You can see that maybe, just maybe, your parents actually chose that really dark side. They gave up being in the light just for you to learn.
Woo, girl, you're gonna make me cry. That was You were
Just the
very passionate about that.
way, yeah, but just for us to really, really get it, what did we really came here for in this lifetime, right? Because we get so derailed, and that whole agreement that we forget and whatnot. But coming back to that, then it all makes sense, and it gives you such energy and life force to use the rest of your life.
Wow, that was powerful. Holy crap. Woo! I'm moved. Well,
Yeah.
that being said, can you please plug where people can reach out to you, and if they want to work with you and hire you as a shaman, please let us know. Let them know where they can
Totally,
find you.
it's self-love with Nicola, all one word, selflovewithnicola.com, self-love with Nicola on Instagram, on Facebook. I actually have a group starting soon, so which is also really beautiful. We go through actually 18 weeks, 5 months of growth.
Oh, wow.
You don't get the drill in as much personally. You could always add that on, but I really like the group energy, and so just check it out. It's all on the webpage. You can find it there, and we go from
Hey,
there.
she needs to join. She needs to join. She's going to be joining that group because she needs some
Yes,
she
what a
needs some
gift,
growth.
right? What a gift.
Yeah, she's awesome. Well, Nicola, is there any last words that you'd like to leave with the audience before we wrap things up?
Um, if you in any way nudged or called to level up your life, go for it, because otherwise the message gets stronger, and you wanna do it when it's still easy and not when it gets even more difficult.
Woo! Boom.
All right, Diana,
Yes. Yeah,
right?
I feel like right now, like what I'm doing is kind of like leveling up. It's really hard to put yourself out there like this. When I
Mm,
decided to do a podcast, I was like, who the heck do I think I am? I'm like, I'm just gonna do it anyways. And it's been so rewarding and so exciting. And I'm in it. I'm enjoying the ride, and I'm just going. I'm riding the tailwinds, or I'm riding whatever this is. So
Yeah,
it's I get to talk to amazing people like you, and it's just so like rewarding and inspiring, and I'm touching people's lives on a daily basis. So
you are.
it's,
You are.
oh,
Totally.
so are you. So we're in sync here, lady. We're in sync. We're doing good things. But thank you again so much. I look forward to doing a follow up with you and hearing all all the impact that you're making in other people's lives. So, you guys, this is your host Deanna Kemple with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And we will be back soon with more dynamic guests.